Letters, the untold story of the 6,888th Battalion's courage and triumph in World War II. The year was 1945, and the world was engulfed in war. In a quiet, cold corner of England, Major Charity Adams stood before her battalion, the 6888 Central Postal Directory Battalion. Behind her, an enormous warehouse loomed, crammed with 17 million undelivered letters. Each one was more than just paper and ink. It was a thread connecting soldiers on the battlefield to their loved ones back home. "Ladies," she began, her voice steady and filled with conviction, "these letters represent more than just words. They are hope for soldiers and their families. We've been given 6 months to clear this backlog, and I know we can do it. Let's show the world who we are and what we're capable of." The women of the 6,888th nodded solemnly. They knew this task was monumental, but they also knew they were part of history. They were the only all-black, African-American, all-female unit deployed overseas during World War II. The pride of their accomplishment was matched only by the weight of the expectations placed upon them. Inside the dim warehouse, the enormity of the task hit them. Piles of mail stretched to the rafters. Letters were often addressed with vague names like Junior in Europe or Honey at the Front. The battalion developed an intricate system, cross-referencing military records and deciphering sloppy handwriting to ensure each letter reached its destination. Private Lena King, a soft-spoken but determined young woman, worked tirelessly. She had joined the battalion to honor her best friend, who had dreamed of serving but passed away before she could. For Lena, every letter was a reminder of lives intertwined by love and longing. One day, Lena's fingers hesitated over a letter, addressed simply to "My darling boy." She wondered who had written it. A mother? A sweetheart? She carefully placed it in the proper bin, resisting the urge to read it. Its journey wasn't hers to finish. After long days of sorting, the women gathered in the evenings, huddled together for warmth and companionship. They called these moments Campfire Talks, even though the only light came from dim lanterns. These talks strengthened their bond and reminded them of the humanity behind their work. One evening, Lena shared a story. "I came across a letter from a mother to her son today," she began, her voice soft. She described the pie she'd baked when he came home. "It reminded me of my mom's cobbler, the one she made when things were hard. I wonder if he'll get that letter in time." Diane Jackson, always quick with a sharp wit, smiled. "We're not just sorting mail, Lena. We're stitching families back together, one envelope at a time." The group fell silent, the weight of their task sinking in. Then Diane broke the tension. "6 months? I say we finish in 3. Let's make history." Their laughter filled the cold warehouse, but behind it was a shared determination to prove not only their capability, but also their worth in a world that often underestimated them. The British winter was unforgiving. The warehouse was poorly heated, and frost clung to the windows. The women worked through numb fingers and aching backs, driven by the importance of their mission. One day, an officer visited the operation. His skeptical eyes scanned the room, and he remarked, "Do you really think you can handle this?" Major Adams didn't flinch. "Not only can we handle it, sir, but we'll do it better and faster than anyone else." Her confidence rippled through the battalion like a rallying cry. Doubts and challenges were nothing new to these women. They faced them head on, just as they always had. One afternoon, as Lena sorted through the mail, her heart stopped. A letter addressed to Private William King stared back at her. Her brother. He'd been deployed for months, and she hadn't heard from him since. Hands trembling, Lena placed the letter in the outgoing bin. It wasn't her place to read it, but the hope it carried stayed with her. That night, she confided in Diane. "What if I never hear from him again?" she whispered. Diane put an arm around her. "You will. If he's out there, he'll get that letter. That's why we're here, to make sure everyone gets a chance to reconnect." Her words gave Lena the strength she needed. The next day, she returned to her work with renewed purpose, pouring her hopes into every envelope she touched. After months of grueling work, the battalion achieved the impossible. In just 3 months, half the time they'd been given, they cleared the entire backlog. Soldiers received letters they thought were lost forever. Families wept with joy as connections were rekindled. On their final day in the warehouse, Major Adams gathered her team. "Ladies, we've done more than sort mail. We've delivered hope. History will remember what we've accomplished here, and so will we." Years later, Lena would reflect on her time with the 68,888th with immense pride. She kept a small box of letters she'd found during her service, each one a reminder of the lives she touched. One of those letters had been her brother's. William received it just weeks before he was sent home safely. Inside, their mother had written, "No matter where you are, know that we are with you. And know there are women working tirelessly to bring you this message. Never forget how much you are loved." The story of the 6,888th Battalion faded from history for decades, but for those who knew them, they were a testament to courage, resilience, and the unbreakable power of human connection. Their all-black, all-female battalion stood as a beacon of hope, determination, and pride, paving the way for future generations.